afternoon and welcome. You're listening live to Heart-to-Heart, a program that aims to help you understand and to become your loving self. I'm Dr. Mitra Rashidian. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified sexologist. Uh, Along here with my colleagues, best friend, business partner, and the person that I rely a lot on for everything, most everything in my life, Dr. Robert Jaffe.
What a sweet introduction. Thank you so much.
It's the truth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Dr. Robert Jaffe.
You are.
I am.
Just
Also,
reconfirming.
also a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified hypnotherapist, and here with my lovely and beautiful best friend and colleague, business partner, Dr. Mitra. And we're here to share with you some of what we've learned over probably about 60 combined years of study and practice. The goal of ours is to help others feel more loving and joyful within themselves and between each other. And we want to let you know that we are born into the world as our loving, authentic, true selves, the vast majority of us. And we come in with a lot of great qualities. We come in open to learning, open to new things. We come in honest. We don't know how to lie when we first arrive. We have to be taught that. We come in sexual. We all are sexual beings when we come in. We come in trusting that the world is going to be a positive place and take good care of us. We have other abilities. We have the ability to remain calm, even in the face of danger. We have the ability to be emotionally open and available and connected to other people. And we have the ability to be confident within ourselves and to be compassionate. And compassion is probably one of our greatest abilities. And we're here to help you recognize that that is within you and that you can be compassionate, both with yourself and with others. And the more that you are, the more joyous your life will be. So that's what we're here to do. And take it away.
Exactly. And compassion and compassionate life and how to make it compassionate, has always been, for the most part, the aim for many people.
Mm-hmm.
How to set up a home. We were talking about before the program that how it takes years to build a home.
Mm-hmm.
And how it takes 3 seconds to blow it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we don't realize that, that when we're having fights, that we're being very destructive of the very thing that we're hoping to build and to make stronger.
Right. So for today, I was thinking it's pandemic. Many people are living in a state of fear, trying to protect themselves and their loved ones. Fear of exposure, the uncertainty that's going on, how much longer this is going to take, what they do, and how to take care of themselves. The fact that they can't go out and entertain like before made me think, okay, we're always talking about what's negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring something spicy in.
Okay, right? Sounds good to me.
Right, let's bring something that gives some pleasure that realistically doesn't take much of an effort from outside home, right? And they can all enjoy it indoor as they are together.
Mm-hmm.
Families, couples, partners, how they want to, anybody can do this. Any two people can do this. Any family, more than two, can do this, right?
Yeah.
So historically, when we look at food,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Mhm.
that's what I meant when I said, let's give it some spice,
Okay.
right? Food has always been, in some way or more, associated with offering love, giving love, receiving love, feeling loved,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So when I saw this article that is from a group of named Hamburg and colleagues. It was published in Journal of Clinical Child and Family Studies from in Amsterdam, right? And they pointed out that how food and actually how we get in touch interpersonally, we get in touch with food, and we feel the love by food or by receiving food has a lot to do with how our parents introduce food to us,
Mhm.
right? So whether that's through breast milking, how the child feels safe when he or she is fed by mom, whether that's by bottle and then growing up, however the child is introduced to more solid food, and how that interaction takes place has a lot to do for the child to interpersonally appreciate the value of food
Mhm.
and connect to food as a source of comfort, as a source of being loved, as a source of interaction between a safe and trusting interaction between the child and parent.
Mhm.
And then how through that process they take that into further relationships in life,
Mhm.
right? So taste, the quantity and quality of food,
Mhm.
and the nature of sharing that and feeding that
Mhm.
has a lot to do with how a child learns to associate with food,
Mhm.
right? And therefore, we have seen that some kids, they just enjoy their food and they can't wait for their feeding time. We see some kids that they don't appreciate food and they have a hard time, eating food. Some they have hard time digesting food. Some are kind of picky about what food to have or not to have,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But overall, we are not separated from building. We all have a relationship with food,
Correct.
right? And that relationship is about nurturing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, survival.
Mhm.
And therefore, however we feel about food, we bring that into our relationships.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely true.
Yeah. What's your thoughts about that?
So I think that everything you said is absolutely true. We develop a relationship with food, and sometimes the relationship is a healthy relationship. And when it's a healthy relationship, then we recognize that food can symbolize love, but we also recognize that food is not love.
Food is not love,
Right.
but see, food, the nature of food reminds us of the interaction that came with it, the behavior that came with it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
For example, most of us say, nobody cooks like my mom.
Yeah, and that can be positive or negative, right?
Can be positive or negative, right? But usually, we say, my mom's recipe, or, it's a traditional family recipe. I miss my grandma cooking, or I miss my mom's cooking. I want to go home so I can be with family during holidays, to have some home cooking and, participate in actually preparing the food, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a ritual. It's a positive, loving ritual that comes
Mm-hmm.
with the notion of food and the impact of that in our lives.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So as I was thinking about this and reading this article, I realized it's pandemic and people are home and they're looking for activities to do.
Mm-hmm.
So why not, focusing on, preparing food together.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because preparing food, it has the same impact that we just talked about, and historically it's been that way. In many cultures, offering food is a sign of invitation for friendship. It's a sign of having a peaceful life. It's it's a sign of showing trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sign of inviting to be friends with.
Right.
Right. So in so many cultures, when families share bread, they call it, we share our bread with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means you're one of us. That means we trust you and we took you as one of us.
Yes.
So it's so meaningful. So every message about food that we listen to, for the most part, it's a loving feeling that comes with it. It's a sense of trust, and it's all about, nurturing ourselves, both physically and emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, yes, you made a point that sometimes we need to be very careful so that our children don't associate, their comfort and their belonging and their success and feeling good about themselves with food, because that's eating disorder.
Right.
When they grow up.
Right.
So we're not going there. We're not
Mm-hmm.
taking that direction.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So couples in particular, they talk about not knowing, what to do with each other. They are home, right? And they are looking for activities. And so one activity that I like to propose here today is cooking together.
Yeah. And I think that's so great because you are a consummate chef. You're a consummate chef. You've made many dishes that you shared with myself and with some friends, and you do it because you do it with love.
Yes.
And the love is part of the food, and it tastes great, not just because of the way you cook it, but also because of the ingredients that you use and the thoughtfulness that you put into it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think what you're bringing up today is
a beautiful comment. Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's beautiful, and I think it's a great thing to talk about today, because it can really bring people together.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And per what I know, one of the sexiest, most romantic, most emotionally connected activities that a couple can do is helping each other cook.
Mm-hmm.
And the home cooked meal that they prepare together, it has a different bonding, different emotional bonding among them, instead of going outside and order at restaurant.
Correct. Yeah.
Helping each other cut the vegetables, or prepare the meat, marinate whatever they have, or add what the flavors that they like, and mm-hmm. then wait for the cooking process, have a glass of wine while they are waiting, talking, chit-chatting. And that process, it's so loving, that brings out, the true character of people out, that loving character, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're doing something that has to do with nurturing and love and emotion and a connection, and it's a creation that the two are making together. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes recipes do not end up the same, but it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Right. It's the process that brings them together. Uh-huh. So we just got a notice about our commercial break. We will continue with this topic after our commercial. See you shortly.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Welcome back from our commercial break. Dr. Mitra and Dr. Robert here at Heart-to-Heart program at KMET 1490 AM, ABC News Radio. Our today's discussion is about food and love and how the two come together. I'm going to be talking about, some of the top 10 food that, can generate romance. Okay. And maybe sharing some recipes here, because, food is always there for our well-being, right? And yes. Love is a part of that. Mm-hmm. So we like to invite you to please call us at 951-922-3532. And we can be seen on our YouTube at Heart-2-Heart heart.online/YouTube. And please introduce this program to those that you feel they can benefit from it. So, Dr. Robert, welcome back.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. We were talking about food and romance and how it happens.
Yes.
Right. And during commercial break, we were talking, with Sean, our technical director, and he was telling us that he has actually been a chef.
Yes, yes, small world.
Small world, yes. And I love listening to his comment about how the recipes have been kept in the family and how, their pie crust still is the best and the most flakiest, right?
Absolutely.
So look at the amount of love that it was in that short conversation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And how the connection stays within, generational, and generations, and then how recipes of love is transferred to the next one and how much it is valued.
And I'm sure that whenever he cooks the pastries that he was talking about from his grandmother's recipe, it reminds him of his grandmother, and he gets to feel that love all over again.
Exactly. So that's we were getting to that point before commercial that, when you say, nobody has my grandma's recipe, nobody has my mom's recipe, and there is realistically truth in that, because not two people cook the same, not people have the same, touch, not everybody has the same level of love in it, so it's all unique, and that uniqueness, makes a big difference in the recipe. Right. Absolutely. There have been times that I have cooked and my God, it became such a disaster, right, because I felt like I had to cook. Seriously,
okay. Well, that makes a big difference, right, when you want to and when you have to.
Exactly. And then when I really want to cook, and I just feel, I love to cook, it comes out, just beautiful. And even I myself, appreciate my own cooking.
Good.
If I may say so on that one, right? So. And then when we look at, history, we see that there are actually certain food that we are told that they increase libido.
Correct.
Right.
Oysters.
Well, we're gonna get to that. You're way ahead of me.
When you said romance, that was the first thought was oysters.
Oysters. So they call them. Let's see if I can pronounce this correctly. Aphrodisiac food.
Oh, close.
Close.
Yeah, I think it's pronounced aphrodisiac.
Aphrodisiac food.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Right. So it is actually, a Greek word, right? That, goes back in the history to the goddess of love, beauty, poetry, and, pretty much anything that is associated with love. And the belief is that there are certain food that they increase libido. And across the history, we have seen that actually happening, right? I mean, there is no place that you can go unless they are totally not familiar with oyster, right? For example, that they don't know. But since we mentioned oyster, I'm going to say why oyster is one of the food that increases libido is because it's full of zinc.
Oh.
Right. And then zinc, is actually a healthy and a much needed ingredient for male testosterone.
How interesting. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's why, when the dating night happens, right, male or men order, dozen of oysters, and they eat most of it. They then just leave a few for the female partner.
Okay.
Because they want to make sure that they have their enough supply of testosterone.
Okay. All right.
Right.
To make life enjoyable.
To making love, and also making that evening or the day or the process, whatever plans that they have made for themselves, they want to make sure they have enough testosterone going, right? So, and we have seen that the consumption of oysters during certain holidays, during Valentine's, Day, during birthdays, honeymoons, anniversaries, it just goes up, right? And there are some restaurants that they offer during certain months of the year, such as February, for example. They call it month of romance, right? Some of the restaurants here in LA, they have all-you-can-eat oyster, right? So even them, they make sure that, that the level of testosterone is being taken care of.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and I actually have some of my clients, they asked me that. They said, they make sure that, when there is a dating night or they want to have sex or anything, they want to have enough oysters. They don't know why they're having oyster, but they know oyster helps. And the question is too much oysters gonna, hurt us or anything? And the answer is yes. Yes, too much consumption of zinc in oyster can be kind of poisonous.
Oh,
so
okay.
Gotta be careful.
Okay. A dozen is good?
A dozen it's usually a good amount, a dozen and a half is very much.
It's a lot.
For some people it can be a lot. Yes. Right. And then if there is a shortage in testosterone, it's best for men to seek medical help, not just rely on oyster.
Okay. Okay. But so, that's very interesting about zinc. I did not know that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to teach you that.
That's good. Thank you.
So some of the food that, we use oyster in, and obviously just, sharking oysters with lemon juice and some pepper or whatever, or horseradish or anything. So that's the usual way, raw oysters, and then fried oysters, barbecue oysters. I don't know. There is so many ways that we can use that. And oysters are different than clams, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Right. Definitely. So the clams do not give you that effect.
Right, right. Well, they're different consistency, too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's for that. So the food that we're going to be talking about here today, they're not the only food, right? But they are some of the very well-known food that people consume in order to elevate their lovemaking, they elevate their romance, they elevate their libido primarily. And some of them have scientific facts behind them. Some of them are just beliefs. Some people eat it because it makes them feel good, so they just go for it, right? Like we know strawberries is one of them, right? Strawberries usually with champagne is something that is served, right? It brings up the flavor of the champagne. That's what is said, right? But then again, strawberries, because of the color, and it's because it's easy to feed, and all of that, to exchange, is one of the, sexy food that's really being consumed.
But
right?
but strawberries, as far as you know, don't contain anything within them.
They all contain something. I'm not sure exactly about strawberries, but I'm certainly happy to look for it and find out what is the main ingredient in a strawberry. But I know in celebration, strawberry and champagne go together.
Correct.
Because strawberry releases better flavor in champagne. Of course, if you have a cheap champagne, doesn't matter how many strawberries you have.
Exactly. Exactly. But of course, if you drink enough of it, it doesn't matter.
Right. So one of the top 10, is dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. And we know so many recipes for dark chocolate, right? Dark chocolate, chocolate cake, chocolate ice cream, chocolate, I don't know. Souffle. Chocolate martini, chocolate, you name it. There is so much chocolate going on that, you can even, shave a chocolate on top of your coffee. You can shave, chocolate on your spaghetti. You can do it spaghetti. I mean, you don't need to put it like a sauce there. You can just sprinkle.
That I've never heard of.
Try it. It's tasty.
Well, I'm sure chocolate and anything is tasty.
Anything is tasty. chocolate covered apples,
Oh, yeah.
Donuts,
Yeah.
chocolate covered donuts.
Of course.
So basically, what chocolate does, it has this ingredient that releases endorphin. Okay, and that endorphin is what we want in order to feel, to have an increase in our libido. Right, and that's why the deep strawberry dipped in chocolate is very much favored during Valentine's night. Right, we have seen it that it is in the market at the time, huge size, extra large strawberries covered in dark chocolate. Right.
Yeah, and strawberries, of course, have their own sweetness.
They have their own sweetness.
And sometimes they're not so sweet, but then you have sweet and pungent.
Right.
Or just sweet and sweet.
Right, exactly. So we see that, when it comes to dark chocolate, there are a variety of food. Just simple milk chocolate, does the job. So depending on the taste of the, couple, and this is something that they can do at home, like creating that, strawberry dipped in chocolate is very easy, and it's very fun, and it's very romantic, right? For people, to just have one of those chocolate warmers, on a table, and then they can sit on the sofa and just, dip the chocolate in it and then feed each other.
Feed each other.
Right?
Right.
I mean, what could be more romantic than that?
Exactly.
I mean, romance really doesn't take much to create.
Right.
It just needs to have the willingness to it, to make it happen. Right?
Right.
So we see that, just have chocolate, warm it up, melt it, have some strawberry, and there you go. Your libido is up there to lead you to wherever you want to have, make love.
Yep. When you were saying feed each other, I remember reading about, in some story about the difference between heaven and hell. And they said hell is when everybody is sitting around a big pot of a beef stew. And they have these long spoons, and they pick up the spoon, and they can't put it in their mouth because the spoon is too long, right? And they keep trying to put it in their mouth, and they can't. And then they said heaven is everybody is still sitting around the same pot of big beef stew, and they have these long spoons, but they take the spoon and they feed each other.
They feed each other. Yeah, that's so nice.
And that's heaven.
Yeah, that's so pretty. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So the next item, believe it or not, chili pepper.
Chili pepper. Wow. Wow. Feel it going down.
Yes. So it's but chili peppers, they have two reasons that is attractive, and it's a sexy food, right? One is the color. The red color of chili pepper is very attractive. It's actually one of the sexiest red color I have ever seen myself, right? And imagine you crush that on top of your sauce, the sauce in the spaghetti, the sauce on chicken, the sauce on any food, you can add chili pepper on top of it, right? And the warmth that it generates in body, and the blood flow that causes as a result of that, it helps you to increase your libido. I mean, you can have chili pepper anywhere, but when you're sitting next to the person that you love, right, your body naturally, takes you there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and also it has this combination called capsaicin. I hope I said that right?
Let me see.
Capsaicin.
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 Capsaicin, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then again, that also, kind of generates endorphin. Right. And of course, a little bit of a chili pepper goes a long way.
Right.
Right. So one of the areas that you can actually use chili pepper again is on your, chocolate dip strawberry.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! That must explode in your mouth.
Oh well, boy, try it! I have tried it.
Have you?
I have tried it.
Wow!
And it just has such a phenomenal flavor. It's very exciting. It's very, warm. It's very soothing. And you can feel it. You can feel your taste buds actually coming alive. Right. So That you can use it there. You can obviously use it in any food that you have. You can use it in salad dressing. You can use it in barbecue. You can use it on fish. You can put it on your seafood paella. You can put it, I don't know, you taco, you name it, It goes everywhere, right? And just imagine that, two people who are, together, they're living 24/7 and get up and put all these recipes together and look for the ingredients that they have love in them, right? Or they create love, or kind of, it's just so romantic when we look at these foods.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so avocado is next.
Oh, avocado.
Avocado is next. And let's see why avocado is a sexy food.
Okay, all right. Okay. Avocado is also very healthy for you.
Yes, all of them are very healthy for you.
Okay.
That's the beauty of it.
Beautiful.
All these food, they are actually very healthy.
Okay.
Right? And we see that they are all based on Mediterranean diet.
Okay.
Right?
Sounds good.
So more of this right after our commercial break.
See you soon.
Welcome back from our commercial break. Dr. Mitra and Dr. Robert here at Heart-to-Heart at KMET 1490 AM, ABC News Radio. We're talking about how to bring more love to ourselves during pandemic when we are home and we have nothing else to do and we can't think of anything else to do.
And you're talking about cooking and how food can bring us together.
Exactly. So we're introducing some of the top 10, food ingredients that can bring romance to your life during pandemic or any other time, and also help to increase your libido.
Absolutely.
Right. So thank you. And we were talking about avocado as being one of them. Right? So why avocado? Believe it or not, I mean, in addition to the nutrition value that it has, the shape of avocado is sexy, right? And in particular, because they grow in pairs.
Oh, in pairs.
In pairs.
Interesting.
Avocados don't grow on trees and as a single, fruit. They are in pairs.
Wow.
Right. And then the shape of them is considered sexy. And of course, we know that their nutrition is fantastic. And what makes sense, because, when items became sexy, some of it is not just taste, it's a visual thing too. So from visual point of view, avocado is one of the top 10, right?
And a strawberry, it looks like a heart.
Strawberry looks like a heart. Exactly. Yes, right. So we talked about oyster. Would you like to talk more about oyster?
Well, there's more to say about it. I mean,
let's see. We have other ones to cover,
okay.
Right? And then, if we have more time, we're coming back to oyster. But then again, just to recap, oyster is one of the most famous one is because it has high level of zinc.
Right.
That impacts, that increases the level of testosterone. Right. And that's what men are looking for, right? To having enough testosterone to function.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And women need testosterone as well.
Women need testosterone too, yes. Right. Yeah. But primarily, especially in Asian countries, we see that the consumption of oyster belongs primarily to men. Right.
Well, men have a lot more testosterone than women. But yeah, absolutely.
Right. And also because it's easy to eat. You just grab it. And you just slaughter down and it's just done, right? You don't need
take an oyster shooter, right?
Right, exactly. And I remember when I went to Boston to visit my daughter, there was this oyster shop in an Italian town. They had an Italian town. My God, some of the best oyster belong there, and we didn't miss it. I tell you, it was worth the wait each
Beautiful.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
The next one, believe it or not, is garlic.
Garlic. Oh.
Yeah, one will say, wow, but garlic smells like hell. Yes, but if you eat garlic the right way, it doesn't smell that way. Right?
Right.
Garlic, the way it is cooked, it releases its high odor or it doesn't. For example, if you just, boil or steam garlic with spinach, you hardly will ever, even taste the, I mean, feel the odor of garlic, right? If you steam it with parsley or cilantro or a combination of some green vegetables, you hardly will ever.
Probably because those vegetables have such a strong taste.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then also, so what happens, with garlic, also it's called a romantic food because it affects blood. It cleans the blood, right? The right consumption of it increases the blood flow, right? And overall, it's a vegetable or fruit. I don't know what to call it. It's an herb or whatever it is that, because of the cleaning the blood and causing blood flow, it is considered a sexy food. Not to mention, it also, in some cultures, they believe that garlic also gives men more power for their libido. Not so much for women, but for men.
Yeah. Not to mention that it keeps Dracula away.
Keeps Dracula away too. So the next one is honey. Honey, right?
All right.
So as the name of it says, we can use honey in just about anything, right? I don't know of any food that we can add honey to it. I mean, look at for example, salmon, right?
Yeah.
Salmon glazed, honey, salmon glazed honey with what's that vinegar? I forgot the name of it. The dark vinegar, balsamic vinegar, right? Or for example, roasted duck with honey glazed balsamic, right? You can put it on lamb. You can put it on inside your tea. You can put it in your coffee. You can put it in your shake. You can just dip your fruit in honey, like apple in honey.
Right.
Right.
It's so good.
It's so.
And what I've done is I just get some plain yogurt.
Yeah,
put a little honey in the yogurt, put a banana or some fruit in it. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Imagine, a couple wake up in the morning and one of them starts to put that breakfast together. Some plain yogurt, some, nuts that they like, some honey, some like oat flakes, some flaxseed, anything that they like, some crunch on it. And voila, you have the most beautiful breakfast and healthy breakfast. You can also add some strawberry. You can just drizzle some chocolate on it, right? So you can put some, a chili flake on that. It just becomes such a complete meal, right? And then the next one, is called banana.
Banana. Oh, one of my favorite
banana
fruits.
Has two purposes, right? Banana, again, is a visual, the sexual item.
I wonder what it represents.
I'm wondering. I think the missing part of avocado.
Okay. Okay, banana.
Right. And also, it helps with increase of testosterone. Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That's why, banana milkshake is very much favored by men. Right? So imagine you have a banana milkshake with some honey in it, right? And then you can add some chocolate to it, right? And some men, they actually add some 1 or 2 egg yolks in it, right? And you can add some cream on top of it. That's too much to me. I mean, that's like a bomb, taking bomb and you drink it. But it sure tastes beautiful, tastes wonderful, right? And so banana milkshake is one of those romantic shakes that couples can make for each other. It doesn't have a specific time to drink it. You can drink it while watching, TV, watching a game, talking, just going, in the backyard, going on a patio, just sitting on a kitchen table, It really doesn't have a specific time where you can have a banana milkshake to bring romance to your life, right?
Right.
What's really romantic about it is to making it for each other.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then giving each other a straw and then sipping from each other's straw.
There you go. There
Right?
you go. You're an expert on that, aren't you? Right.
Well.
So. Okay. All right. So the next one is red wine.
Red wine.
Red wine. Red wine. We know that what it does to begin with is relaxes people. Right. Of course, we're talking about the quantity that is appropriate. Mm-hmm. Anything can be overdone, right? We don't want to go to that direction. Mm-hmm. We're not talking about finishing a bottle of red wine each time, mm-hmm. right? But red wine, to begin with, it starts with relaxation. And with that relaxation at the same time, it keeps the blood running, mm-hmm. right? So, and then 2 and 2 put together.
Yep. A mixture creates the synergy of 2, and then you have an explosion.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And then have red wine ready, as part of meal, basically starting with the red wine while we are cooking food, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And then to continue with that until the meal is over. And then start with our strawberry dipped chocolate
okay.
with right. red chilies. Uh-huh. And the result, it comes, a hot sex after that, I guess.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Right. And then some of the, the meal that can be prepared and is well fit with red wine is usually red meat of any kind that, couples like to have. Uh-huh. Maybe, a pasta dish, with the red sauce, which they can add garlic as well, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you see, all these ingredients, they can actually in some way go together, right?
Okay.
Right. I mean, bananas and avocado can be on salad, uh-huh. right? Uh-huh. Banana can be as part of dessert.
Right.
Red wine can be an ongoing thing going on, through the preparation and the duration and after meal, uh-huh. right? And what else is there? So we can see that everything kind of is associated with increasing blood, flow, and also increasing testosterone, mm-hmm. and then ultimately increasing libido.
Right.
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 And so the next one is nuts, different forms of nuts. Mm-hmm. So why nuts are so important? Because they have zinc.
All nuts?
All nuts, they have zinc.
Oh.
Yes. Such as almond, such as pistachios, such as pumpkin seeds. They also have magnesium, right? That again, helps to increase level of testosterone.
What about peanuts?
Peanuts, mm-hmm. right? I mean, we have so many good nuts that, like pine nuts, mm-hmm. right? Pine nuts is very expensive because it's very hard to harvest and to take the seed out of the shell, right?
I see.
And so remember that you and I went to Arizona, uh-huh. and I saw a pine tree, right? And I grabbed one, and there was this gentleman in our group that showed me. They said that's the whole pine nut just for one, and it was a huge shell. Right. And it was very hard to crack it. Uh-huh. But once I did it, there was a very tiny, small pine in it, with a seed inside of it.
Yeah, it's sort of like effort and reward, right?
Right,
yeah.
right. So imagine, that's why, relatively speaking, it's more expensive than average, nuts, right? Because it's hard to release from its shell. However, what they do is they give you lots of minerals and vitamins and proteins, and in particular zinc and magnesium that is needed to elevate the level of testosterone. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is figs. Now figs, when we look at history, we see that Adam and Eve have figs leaves all over them. Mm-hmm. Some they say that's grapes, and then figs, and it can be a combination of both. Mm-hmm. However, figs, because of the the level of sugar that they have and also the enzyme that they have inside of them, again, is one of those foods, whether it's dry or fresh, increases the level of libido. And you see that figs are used a lot, in the desserts, right? So, and we have variety of jams that we have. And I actually have a jam at home. It's jams and chili pepper.
Oh, it's what in chili pepper?
It's figs and chili pepper. Yes. And it's so tasty. It's amazing that how these two come together, and there is no sugar in it at all, right? So the sweetness of the figs is good enough to make that. And imagine you put that on top of your ice cream, right?
What about prunes?
I don't know about prunes.
Okay.
I don't think prune is romantic.
No, okay. For another reason, right?
Right. So anyway, we are out of time. I hope that you enjoyed the show today. And so basically, you can keep your romance alive and your libido high just by taking a few simple ingredients and add your love to it and prepare it together. And then more of this we will be talking about, maybe in the future programs. I like to hear about your, ideas and what you think about what we presented today. So please call us. Also, I'd like to invite you to join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. for another episode of Codependency, Addiction, Trauma, and Relationship with Dr. Jaffe. And we invite you to join us next week, Thursday, at 3 p.m. for another episode about human sexuality. And until then, don't forget that all you need is love.
Love, love, love. See you next week. Or see you tomorrow, hopefully.
See you tomorrow,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.